So are we just doomed here to have Amy's app as the only map we get to watch in, like, at least the first
I'm
two
a big
rounds?
fan.
I mean, it's a great map.
I'm a big fan here, and already right off the bat, I'm not seeing presence of the Rasmus band from this side of the field. Ooh. All
Well,
right.
Era is Deadge now. Well, actually, they banned Era. Wait, Era Deadge banned Era, so...
Well, no. Other side here, right?
Yes, you...
Yeah, so they weren't looking to play it inherently, but it was still something that came true nonetheless. I will say the Rasmus was almost guaranteed. It's a pseudo gentleman's agreement to just let this one slide through, given the oppressive nature of, well, the center play that exists here on Imy's map.
Oh, yeah, of course. But on the flip side, that means we get to see all the hooking gameplay. And in fact, we're almost at a mirror matchup here. Almost. I have to assume that Zentaro is going to be coming in from Hamster Quest. He plays a lot of that on the ladder, and there we go. So that's the one difference here, right? You have Juliet on one side, you have Zentaro on the other. What do you think about this, Zephyr?
I mean, I cater towards Juliet in so many extra additional situations. You have to give it on over to Zentaro in terms of crashing through on the opposite side, but already right off the bat, lots of damage sustained. A KO found here, and pressure already in the hands on opposite end. Hamster Quest, this here, pull that one away.
Yeah, absolutely. So Obscurebreads, he's doing a good job covering, and we see for the moment, well, actually, he's not going to be able to move too far forward. So Hamster Quest, he's got pressure on the other side, and what we're looking for here, Zephyr, is as the pressure goes in, because the barrier is down, Obscurebreads is going to want to move out a little bit further, but Hamster Quest, he's just not letting him do it.
Not quite. Finally, barrier down there. Obscurebreads wasn't quite able to find the astral projection. Instead, we'll have to test now the delusional on the opposite end. Keeps this one popping back, passed over to Leo Leon, and finally, that one does find its precedent on the midway line, but Nakaaa and crew finally keeping this one just as clean.
Yeah, certainly. So Hamster Quest juggling on the bottom side, and there, elusive at the wrong time. Hamster Quest, it just goes right in.
Slice and dice. Find that one set up for success here for the Surreal Saucers. And I gotta say, I mean, it's feeling just as identical as anyone can expect here. I have to wait and see who gets charged up between Appa and Hamster, because I personally didn't see anything sort of different.
No, not really. And Hamster Quest. So Obscurebreads is doing such a good job here. The barrier finally goes down, but man, so much time wasted there, as now it goes back the other side. Delusional has that core flip available to him if it gets scary, and AppaBug buying time, but Leo Leon, he's got the knockout there, but he gets knocked out in turn, and now AppaBug dancing around here, and at the very least, you've got to assume that the barrier is going to go down, but the Delusional, such incredible job, and they're even still, 3-on-1, it's got to go down now.
It's something that Delusional has to extend that core flip for immediately right off the bat. Appa to pull this one away, and there we go. The setup from Leo Leon finally secures that KO on the central position there. Now with the numbers advantage, you know the Celestial Expanse is no longer available. It's going to be up to this juggle. Appa on the opposite side, and Astral that misses, and hopefully, finally, some leeway. But there we go. A response of their own, a whip into the hole, and a goal for the Surreal.
A whip into their hole, Zephyr.
That's right.
You, you got something you want to tell me?
Hey, I just know it when I see it, all right? I've built up that Omega experience.
Something like that. Well, AppaBug certainly has built up some Omega experience of his own. He's got that core flip available to him as Leo Leon into the corner here, but Obscurebreads, again, doing a great job of keeping that barrier alive. Now the question is, when does AppaBug use their ability? I mean, you're sitting here, you're very low, but you do have that elusive, and he's just barely not going to get knocked out. Not going to get rescued, though. And what a great job coming in by the Surreal Saucers, making sure that they time out the save.
But it was perfect delay of cooldowns, right? And then it lands into a goalie KO. And I in many situations, as Hamster finds and makes this too, there's no successful way to defend that. It is a core flip with style. It almost felt unnecessary, but it shows utter dominance here from the Saucers.
And we're looking at this, and yeah, it's an 8 versus 9 team, but I was looking at this at the start. Surreal Saucers, they have that competitive experience. They have that beta tournament experience, and it really does seem to be showing through here. So as we look at the awakenings we're going to get moving into round 2, anything really point out to you? Show up for you?
I like the point that we were discussing kind of last time around, trying to figure out some of the orb awakenings here. Quick Strike, obviously going to be something that is definitely a dominant and pick up in the end. There's nothing else looks particularly good, but I am curious to see how that plays into it with our goalies here. Obviously, we did, maybe some slight issues regarding the connectivity here, and I think we're going to play this one out. Just give it a second, maybe. Obviously, a little bit of an agreement between both the teams, hopefully to give Obscure the opportunity to connect back in, maybe make sure we're getting complete, full intent. So,
okay,
we have officially confirmed that we will be running this back up. We will be setting it up to score identical up for that initial set for the Sorcerers. So, we're going to take that time. I believe it is going to take a second for the teams to quite literally put those numbers back on the board and, of course, get into the lobby. So, with all that being said, we are going to take this one to a break, so we wouldn't waste your time with our
remakes, but we're right on back into it, and we got Awakenings round 2, Zephyr. We talked about it round 1, but this time, everyone has access to the Orb spell, or the Orb Awakening. Does that change anything?
It's probably not. I don't know if we'll see a hard devote pickup here from any one of our Atlases. Obviously, you have Monolithalus and Bulk Up and potentially, but hey, I say that, but Delusion's really, really into it here on the side of Saucers. For those of you, though, who didn't know, we are obviously a slight reset. We got the sets back into play, and you will notice one thing does change here. Hamster Quest now on that Drakkar, and other notables, the fact that we do have slight level differentials. Either way, it doesn't change the fact that KO successfully come through.
Now, what it does mean is I think as the shot's going to go in here, Obscurebreads does a good job. It does mean that these Awakenings are going to be a little bit more impactful. The size ones are certainly just a lot more power applying, and Obscurebreads just a bit out of position there, Zephyr. Looks topside, but the shot goes in bottom, and quick 1-0 lead in game 2.
It's a start that rings true like no other here, and we'll see if potentially Deadge can pull this one back up. I'd hate to see Obscurebreads still struggling with maybe some of those issues that we did discuss before, but you gotta just do what you can do.
Oh, nice little bounce there coming out of Hamster Quest. Knocks the shield down, but Obscurebreads at the bottom does a pretty good job there, and he does have access. Yeah, okay. Seems like we're having those issues.
Might just be, well, we'll obviously potentially get word here on the back end. Either way, as of right now, we'll treat it just like a standard round 2 overall here. Surreal Saucers in an immediate advantage. They will lose out on one. Pump on the reverse there as AppaBug does find a hit onto the back end. Still looking to break down the barrier, but Delusional finally with that Celestial Expanse is pulling that one back. Does extend all of the time in the world to wait out the revive on Hamster.
Yeah, but AppaBug goes elusive just a little bit, so he will stay alive regardless. And now Leon on the bottom side. He keeps passing to himself, bouncing it against himself as AppaBug and Hamster Quest, they just fight. It's a brawl on the top side. But Leon, he's so fast. And even still, he's not going to find his way in as Obscurebread. He pops the core flip, and we back up once again here. But even still, a lot of resources spent, Zephyr.
So many on the opposite end, and for both of our Rasmuses, they're not the ones who hightail it in terms of the KOs. Instead, it's Appa who finally finds that one over to the side here. An Astral Projection does not connect, and as a result, it's a quick swing in for the era.
Exactly. Appa, well, Appa goes yip yip, at least in this game number 2, at least for a single point. But it's a bit of a comeback here as now the core goes down once again, and Appa contesting pretty hard for it, but the Rasmus hooks them back. He's not able to fight Hamster Quest the way he would like. Not against the wall here, so into the corner they go. And oh, the shield, it still stays alive. And there we go, Hamster Quest down as well. You gotta at least get the shield here, Zephyr, but he's not going to. Not just yet, and now Rasmus down. It's 2-on-2. And while the Delusional, he's got that core flip. Oh! Now 2-on-1, AppaBug, you gotta make something happen.
Not respecting the positioning there, Rasmus practically sets that one up for free. Nakaaa with a slight time advantage. Can they find the barrier here? Hamster Quest playing that midfield line, just waiting, and I think we just had a special on special trade from our Rasmuses.
Yeah, they hooked each other to death, and now they have to live with their sins. But Obscurebreads on the bottom side, no, he doesn't. I'm sorry, the barrier, in fact, does go down now. A bit of an opportunity here. Now, what the Delusional is so far forward here, taking advantage of the barrier advantage, but even still, the barrier will go now down, and while Elusive, AppaBug runs his way back. 3-on-2, 2-on-2. Man, Rasmus on Amy's lab is so oppressive.
There's a reason we did see it on the ban on the earlier matchup today. As a result, it's the double whip on those KOs. Both goals open overtime here. A Celestial Expanse finally ticks away. An intervention, keeping things healthy. Leo Leon on the other side. Hamster Quest tries to smack that one in, but Obscurebreads continues to block where it counts.
Oh, man, he's turning it on here. From ping issues early, now he's really doing well. And
Hey!
on the north side answers his own number. He ties it up.
There you go. We had questions to ask at the beginning of this one, and Obscurebreads has answered in full security here. A nice astral projection from the opposite angles. No one wanting to be the first to take priority there. Instead, it is the midline secured for now by Deadge. Just barely does our core miss out. A Celestial Expanse keeps that one from pumping away on our barrier for now.
Oh yeah, Zephyr, don't you know? If you hit the core first, you can't hit your opponent first, and that's all that matters anyways. The core flip goes down to the bottom side here. AppaBug pushed back into the corner, and now, well, it is a lot of pressure here. Hamster Quest really 1-on-2, but he's forcing so much time for Nakaaa and Leo Leon to maybe try to find something.
I knew it.
There we go.
I saw it.
The hook.
Saw it coming right off the bat there. Appa on the other side waiting to secure just as much. It's up to Delusional. 1v3 against the roll. That's one major cooldown, but no one can quite get the strike off. A prime opportunity now wasted on the timing. Still, though, inevitably, barrier found, even if it might have been a bit delayed.
And man, Obscurebreads there, if you're sitting there and you're 3-on-1, you gotta press forward, especially with the barrier down. Even still, there's a knockout and a lot of pressure on the left side. And Nakaaa moves forward. AppaBug so low, but still so much pressure here. Goes elusive, looks for the shot, but he's not going to get it. Leo Leon on the dodge, on the hook, does a great job. And now the Delusional is back doing what he can, blocking off so much space. And the barrier stays alive. Obscurebreads pops the emote, says, I got away with something there. But even still, it's going to go down at the end. And now we're all synced up, all resources, but AppaBug off the top.
Fiery Fist, just make it so simple there. It wasn't even anything flashy, just your standard run-in here from AppaBug. Credit where it is due here for AppaBug. An absolute menace on the Juliet. Now that we have seen that reset, it's going to be built different to continue to apply that increasingly impactful stagger control.
And this is interesting, too. We look at the direct taking Orb Replicator. All the theory crafting I've seen has said, well, you know, you put it on a goalie, right? Because they have this ability to go and they're going to get a lot of orbs. It's healing, it's XP, it's cooldowns, it's all these wonderful things, especially if you can start to stack them. But putting on a Drek when there's only, this is Amy's lab, there's only one, you're not going to have a lot of orbs to play with.
Not quite there. We'll have to see what kind of thoughts. It's going to be a miss out on the special on the opposite side there for Nakaaa on the setup, but Appa still finds Blast back. That Molten, though, ticking so much. Gonna wait to see if they can heal this one back up. It's gonna force out the elusive, and Appa actually on the retreat. This should be a handover to the Saucers, especially now with double cooldowns down from Obscurebreads. Good save on the Celestial intervention.
Yeah, finally we see a save that does something. Generally, it's just been waited out. And there we go. Barriers, they're down on both sides. Appa and Nakaaa both crashing into the key. And there we go. Immediate knockout. Nakaaa again with an excellent hook. And AppaBug clearing space, but there's no one to receive the core. So that opportunity, that space that was bought, really not taken advantage of by Deadge. But AppaBug tries to find a little bit more here. But Hamster Quest, he has a great clear, and he's going to be able to force it back midfield.
I love watching Leo on the opposite side, just holding out, looking to step in, maybe push this one forward past midline. Pulls back towards the hole. A death touch goes wide. Leo trying to use that themselves to get retainment of the core. Doesn't quite land this one out. We go into overtime as speeds increase, and one final slash forward picks it up for the Saucers.
Oh man, the tech there coming in from Leon. He stuns Obscurebreads right as the puck goes past him, and there's nothing that Obscurebreads could do. He had to preempt it and just was not able to quite do so. So now it's Surreal Saucers. You talk about it, 1-0. And the one thing we got to talk about here is a lot of pressure moving its way into the corner. Barrier goes down as Hamster Quest tries to equalize, but there is so much damage on the side of the blue team right now. It's a little bit painful. Obscurebreads still blocking that out, but no, there's an angle, and now it's all wide open, Zephyr.
Elusive on the outside, but the Death Touch is primed and ready for Leo Leon to push this now into the favor of the Surreal Saucers. No Molten Bolt in play for the Hamster Quest, but the pass is going to make it work nonetheless here. Leo Leon more than handily carrying that round.
Oh, the teamwork. You love to see it. In this match thus far, we've seen a lot of excellent individual play, but when you turn it on like that, you get the passing, you get the ankle clears. It looks so good. And Surreal Saucers, they've really started to turn it on in this point. They get the barrier down so quickly, passing back and forth. Ooh. There's the knockout there. Elusive Leo Leon does not trigger the core flip. Hamster Quest on the top side. And at this point, yeah, it's the teamwork now. It's not just the individual play.
Teamwork makes the dream work here for Surreal Saucers. They've clearly stepped up the tempo, especially now that we have seen this Nakaaa start to catch up, be more of an aggressive forward, and actually find punishment here that doesn't really allow for the setup on Era Deadge. We take a look at our awakenings. Some of our first inklings secured here. Rasmus gonna wait that one out. Just make that death approach just all that more dangerous.
Exactly. I guess I'm surprised that we see the Drek on missile propulsion when Primetime's available, but it wasn't by the time he picked. So, you know, we're going to take the second best one, right? And having the, any primers.
Any primers in chat, guys? No, either way, we come back into it here. Surreal Saucers now one set away. A death touch early on here. Doesn't quite find the breaks that they want here. Appa finally stepping back into this, immediately hit with that Molten Bolt. You can see how much damage is secured, but does not respect the hole.
Ah, man, the Celestial Pillar as well blocks out so much space that even as all that pressure that AppaBug and Nakaaa they had, it did not allow them in. But now there we go. That's the barrier that's going to be down. But Nakaaa, he's got to give the position. Oh! He hits the hook again. And it's still 3-on-2. And still Obscurebreads doing what he can. But he will lose the barrier after all. But now pressure moves in. He's so far forward here. But the barrier prevents any shot into the goal. Delusional, an incredible job. Buying time for Hamster Quest to come back. And now Leon Lee looks for the stun timing. It's not there, but he gets it on Obscurebreads, and it goes in.
Leo Leon catching the core there with the death touch on the opposite side, catching out Obscurebreads before they even had the chance to get down low here.
Oh man, and we talked about it, but this Rasmus is just so freaking impressive on this map. AppaBug, though, doing a fantastic job playing against the pit in the middle as well. And it's 2-on-2, but Leon passing to himself. Hooks Nakaaa a little bit, but he's immune. He just came right back. So now it's 3-on-2 on the other side. Nakaaa, bit of an opportunity juggling to himself, but Leon finds his way onto the bottom side. And it's just a brawl on the bottom as now Leon looks forward, but he's not going to find it. Hamster Quest, it's his territory now.
Very nice. I like that double bounce back off on the hole there to give that presence towards Hamster Quest. It isn't quite the goal, but Leo Leon continues to stuff it in where it counts here. Make it forward with the pendulum swing, and this man is on fire.
Oh, he is. He got it coming and going. He knocks people out. He pulls them back in regardless. That hook is deadly, and we can see it highest level on the field. Leon, level 9, so close to that Omega. And, well, now there's a lot of pressure coming in. Knock AppaBug. We can see Obscurebreads for the first time in a while playing very far forward, and they get the shield down very quickly. Now Pillar on the bottom side. Strike shot means that the puck goes forward. And now AppaBug dashes in.
There we go.
And sometimes all you need is just a little bit of pressure.
That's more of the Juliet, more of the presence that we saw, especially early on after our initial remake here. We need to see a replication of that into the rest of these rounds here. Leo Leon, though, now a bit more forward. Doesn't let them carry this one all the way deep here. It is, though, going to come at the cost of Nakaaa, so going to be Surreal Saucers potentially slowing their roll just for a moment.
It certainly is. There we go. Core flip goes out, and that does a great job of keeping this barrier alive. And now Obscurebreads, we talked about that aggression. He wants to, but he can't because he's got a wide open area to make sure that he keeps alive. And it's not going to matter. Too much pressure. Leo Leon again, gotta be the MVP of this match, and he secures it. It's 3-1 both in this set and in the entire setup because Surreal Saucers, they're moving on.
Surreal Saucers, they started out strong, had a bit of a delay, but they made it clear that they were the decisive winners coming into this one. I love the gentleman agreement. You just let the strikers come out in full force, especially when it comes to the IME's app here. And Rasmus, I mean, that's about as good as it gets there, and especially for Leo Leon. Look at those stats. A major source of KOs across the board. 7 overall, 7 goals. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, well, 9 technically, right? If we include assists as well, responsible for every single goal. No, sorry, that's not quite true. Close enough. Almost all the goals that we saw Surreal strikers hit and knocking everyone out as well. I mean, I didn't see whether he was MVP by the game's logic, but he's the MVP in my heart, Zephyr, and that really is all that matters.
If he isn't the MVP, that's a problem within their systems. I will say, as we pull this one back to us, a credit where it was to AppaBug. Obviously, there were some struggles on the opposite side for our Deadge on Era, and honestly, especially in some of those early iterations, we had Juliet super hyper aggressive. I mean, we were racking up. There was a 6 KO streak at one given point.
Oh yeah. No, and man, there's so many opportunities where you're like, okay, it's 3-on-1, it's 3-on-2. You got to assume that Era Deadge is going to be able to make something happen. But their goalie, or Surreal Strikers goalie, did such a good job, or Surreal Saucers, excuse me, goalie did such a good job of boxing space out, of making sure that there was just really not a lot of opportunities. And we have to remember that this was not the main goalie coming out of Surreal Saucers. This was their backup. And, you know, quite honestly, he looked fantastic. He did such a good job of making sure that even when you had all of these kill opportunities, because that's what Era Deadge was working on, it was a kill comp. And they got their kills. But you got to convert it.
Okay. And convert it they did. At the end of the day here, though, they'll find their way forward as they make our way through our Primetime Tuesday. As for us, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you Bounty Hunters versus Team Name for Seiya. Stick around.